It was precariously balanced, my friend XRP. But you know what? We fell to levels around $1.96, $1.93, and the crucial mid to lower $1.90 area where we need to stay. It was within our control. We found out that New York's financial services had authorized Ripple stablecoin after we got back on our feet. It's massive, it's enormous. We still have a lot of ground to cover after we finish talking about that. Thus, without further ado, settle in, relax, and get ready to dive into a Bitcoin $98,516 that is currently up. The value of Ethereum has dropped by 64% in the past 24 hours. Both USDT and USDC have maintained their dollar pegs in contrast to XRP's remarkable recovery at $2.36. And 87% of that total came to $3,724 USDT. This product has gone as high as $2.42 in that region. The total value of all cryptocurrencies in circulation has increased by 6.43%. The difference between $3.5 trillion and that $4 trillion and that $4 trillion and that $4 trillion, are we going to see 4? Will $4.5 trillion be visible by year's end? And maybe even $5 trillion? We know these markets can go up very fast, but time is running out. Not only does new capital being injected into these markets shortly have the potential to push prices higher, but we also know how much money is sitting in these stablecoins, ready to be deployed whenever the need arises. Bitcoin, we still have a ways to go with the woodwork. Bitcoin would finally come out of hiding if it hit my target range of 108 to 115. Might there be one last dip to the $90,000 area before we start to climb again and Bitcoin takes over and starts a full send? It could be possible. I have been harping on the $90,000 area as a critical one for Bitcoin for some time now. My focus remains on it despite my knowledge of my holdings and the eventual direction of these markets. Thus, it doesn't bother me. I am unaffected by it. My heart leaps for joy at the thought of XRP once again rising above $2. In an ideal world, XRP would surge back up to the $250 area and then shoot for the formidable $270 range. Once that is broken, we will have the runway and the path to $3. Remember that it is Wednesday night at this point. Can you tell me what that means? To our knowledge, this is the very first trading card game built on the XRP blockchain. I will be minting the NFTs, sending you a lovely email, and providing you with a complimentary starter deck. I had about 6 more waves to send out this morning after last night's initial one. You can get your hands on the cards by downloading the game. The link to do so is in the email. Come on in and start playing. One of the most popular games on Ethereum, Gods Unchained, is comparable, as are Pokemon and Magic the Gathering. Showing up early and figuring out how to play will give you control of the field. There is a betting system built into the game. That is true. The current XRP chart is this. Here is the Kraken XRP to USD conversion rate. I kindly request that you take a step back. This is the 1-month chart. Taking a deep breath is all I ask of you. Please examine this chart thoroughly. This item costs 77 cents. Just 1 month ago. Let us return to November 24th, the date of this XRP event. We were trading at 57 cents, 56 cents. The 11th of December has passed. Just look at the progress we made in those 2 weeks. This is a parabolic motion. The most we could charge was $2.88. A fortnight, twice as much, 60 cents became $2.88. A break, a chance to relax, was expected. On this channel, we have already addressed that. Everybody was warned. Then what? Still, we should expect some flattening out and consolidation. Our ideal situation would be to maintain a price above $2 until the next major upswing, which would place us in the $3 to $5 range. What can I expect? It's not hard at all. Our targets are set for the first 3 quarters of 2025. At that time, I'd like to see the fireworks. Fireworks have traditionally made use of Q1. I want you to know that you should be ready for that. The markets have not closed yet. We have just begun to scratch the surface of these markets. Before this massive parabolic surge to the upside around Thanksgiving, you need to look at where we were only 2 weeks ago. In the bottom left corner, you can see the timestamp. On Tuesday, November 12th, 2024. Then we blasted into orbit just like a rocket. There will be a plethora of comparable gains in the near future. If you find that the amount of sales is becoming too much for you, you should always stop being a part of this channel. Just breathe for a moment. Furthermore, you are required to come back once the bull run has started in full swing. This is just the beginning. The main dish is still on its way. In this 60-minute segment, Jerry Cardone discusses the whole controversy surrounding Ripple. He then goes on to say that he didn't say Brad Garlinghouse did it horribly. It was my contention that the publicity stunt failed to provide the desired benefit to them. Consequently, he failed miserably as a leader in this capacity. Maximizing opportunities or bidding farewell are the topics covered in a 60-minute discussion. My apologies. However, I sincerely believe this. This needs some thought, so let's give it some. Nearly an hour and a half passed during the actual interview with Brad Garlinghouse. 60 Minutes aired a 13-minute feature on Brad Garlinghouse after deciding to pick and choose. Whatever their tale was, they concocted it. The final product was not impacted by Brad's gaze. Like any other news organization, he handled the interview with the professionalism befitting a true professional. They put their own spin on it to make it look the way they wanted it to. Brad has been quite vocal about this so far, and I don't think he plans to take it easy. Mr. Eyes, like Brad, wants attention or a goodbye, and I expect the media and news outlets to resume their operations. Whoever Brad Garlinghouse was sitting next to should not be ignored. The head of the International Monetary Fund is, in fact, that lady. The chairman of the Saudi Arabian Monetary Authority is that person. It is true that person is the head of the Hancock Monetary Authority. Christine Lagarde occupied the front row, while the head of the BIs was positioned on the left. For what reason was Brad Garlinghouse on stage? Would you like to talk about getting more exposure? What was Brad doing here? I believe his intention was to garner maximum publicity. In order to move forward, I'd like to jump straight into the interview in the next segment. This individual is Monica Long. The $3 trillion market use case she's describing is Rulist, which will boost demand and facilitate XRP's smooth flow, allowing for faster transactions. To refresh your memory, Ripple is currently minting 20% of the USDC. My primary worry is the potential outcome should Ripple decide to stop producing 20% of USDC. Will its stability as a stablecoin be compromised if it drops below $1, or will it be able to hold its value? O will be the one to take 20% of Ripple's interest. That massive chunk was being worked on by Ripple. Ripple has been minting and investing in USDC, but now that they